We are all set. All righty. Okay, so thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your patience. I'm Ashley Arnold, Assistant Director here for Parent and Family Programs. Today, we're joined with Joi Alexander, who's our Director for the Wellness Empowerment Center. I'm going to just let Joi do her thing, give you guys all the great information. If you have questions, the Q&A should be enabled here, as well as the chat. Let me just make sure. If you can't access this chat, everything that you need will be answered in the Q&A for sure. All right, so we're good to go there. All righty, so Joi, I will let you introduce yourself and get started.
Thank you, Ashley. Hello, everyone. Happy Hump Day. My name is Joi Alexander, as Ashley mentioned. I serve as the director for the Wellness Empowerment Center here at Georgia Tech. My background is public health. I have been in public health for over 15 years, working in college health specifically, at different universities, really empowering students to take ownership of their own health and wellness and trying to build skills and strategies that they can not only perform well in the classroom, but be well as a person. So please feel free at any point in time to ask questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. As I was asked to do this, I thought as a baseline that you all might just want to learn about my department and what we do and how we support students. And so this presentation is really about that, our services, our programs, and how students can engage with us while they're at Georgia Tech. So we are the Wellness Empowerment Center. Our vision is to be the preeminent leaders in providing inclusive and research-based health and wellness programs and services that promote prevention and foster a culture of holistic wellness to improve the quality of life for students. Our mission is to educate, advocate, and equip students by utilizing evidence-based strategies to develop proactive skills that will support not only their academic, but their personal development to achieve health equity. I know, a lot of words, right? But ultimately, we want to make sure that students understand the importance of prevention. What can they do to empower themselves to take responsibility, but also how can they prevent illness when possible? We are located on the second floor of the Stamps Health Center building on campus. And then I'm going to talk about our subunits, which are often called our pillars, which our work is based out of. So that's kind of the different areas that students can engage with us based upon what we do to support them. So we have 3 units. The first one is community nutrition. The second one is health education, and the third one is voice. And so I will talk about those units. I will talk about what they do and how they interface with students. So the first unit is our community nutrition unit. So we have 2 registered dietitians that students can meet with, whether they want to learn how to eat healthy, perhaps they have specific dietary restrictions, perhaps they have disordered eating or an actual eating disorder. So they kind of see the plethora of students, but their approach is very unique. And so they want to ensure that students know that they are not the food police. They do not provide prescriptives for students on what they should or should not eat. But instead, they use an approach that really focuses on how all foods can fit, which is very different because what we want students to do is to ensure that they are loving their body at every shape and size, and that they're not so focused on the number or calories, that they forget that their bodies are precious and that foods are important and all foods can fit into their diet. Another approach is your eating patterns are your own that they use. So they do not recommend or prescribe diets or any type of fast or anything that restricts your body, right? And so instead, they want to celebrate food. They want to look at culture and the importance of variabilities in food. And so with that, sometimes that approach is very different for students because they're used to telling me what I can eat, when I can eat it, and how many times a day. The last piece is that they believe all bodies are good bodies. And with that approach, when we think about our diets, we oftentimes get an image of what is considered healthy eating. And oftentimes it comes with body expectations of I have to eat a certain way for my body to look a certain way. And instead, really getting to the root of intuitive eating, which really has to do with listening to your body and being able to listen to those internal cues of how does your body react to certain foods more than trying to restrict and trying to eliminate foods. How can we celebrate the diversity of foods, but also listen to our bodies and eat when we're hungry and stopping when we're satisfied? So with that, there is a strong emphasis on body positivity. And that's where all bodies are good bodies is really focusing on. But also understanding that if students are struggling in that area, that they can make an appointment and meet with a dietitian for nutrition counseling to really work through that on a one-on-one basis. And learn how to manage eating and preparing foods and improving their relationship with food is really important as well. They do outreach. So part of their time is clinical. The other part is really going across campus and being able to engage with students. As I mentioned, they do provide nutrition counseling, which is one-on-one, but they do outreach on different topics related to nutrition, how to eat within a fixed income, what is nutrition, how to read food labels, what is it that we're learning about foods, and how is this helping us and perform in the classroom, which is really important for students. They also do Flavorful Fridays. So on Fridays, they provide different recipes for students that they can make in their homes that are really easy with limited ingredients. And then they also have the blender bike, which if you see on the picture, Buzz is trying to ride. And so the blender bike goes across campus, and what it does is that students can ride the bike, and while riding the bike, it's actually making a smoothie at the same time. And so the ingredients, the faster you ride, the faster the ingredients are being made. And then at the end, the reward is that you get a smoothie. And so students do enjoy being able to have that activity piece, but also learn the importance of not only nutrition, but physical activity and the intersectionality of that. They can also do presentation requests on a number of topics that are available. As I mentioned, eating on a budget, nutrition 101, intuitive eating, body image, and disordered eating. Our next unit is our health education unit. That unit consists of health educators that are trained in public health. Their approach is more holistic because of public health and looking at it from a prevention lens. And so they do utilize a holistic approach. So with that, instead of just encouraging students to eat well and work out, we recognize that students are multifaceted. And so there's many components that make up a student. And so we try to look at all of those components as the foundation. And how can we promote looking at the whole person and not segments of a person. They also meet students where they are. So instead of just waiting for students to come to us and to check us out, we actually go to where students are, and we set up our tables and our workshops where students are so that they can learn about us, and we can meet students in a place that they feel comfortable. And sometimes the health center is not the most comfortable place where a student would want to come for our services. They also provide outreach on a variety of topics. So the health educators are generalist, and which means that you've kind of got to know a little about a lot. So these are some of the main topics that they can cover and do outreach on, related to alcohol, sexual health, stress, time management, sleep, mindfulness, resilience. One of the pictures is from our pet therapy. We do partner with a community organization and bring dogs on campus bi-weekly to different locations on campus, that students really enjoy being able to engage with the dogs and being able to have a short, brief moment of de-stressing and connection. That's really important for them. We also provide free HIV testing on Tech Green bi-weekly. Safer sex supplies are also provided for students as a preventative method. And then students can request presentations for the health educators to come to their student organizations or their classes to present on any topic that they see fit, and that is the need in their community. Our next unit is our sexual violence unit. And so that unit is really split between prevention and advocacy and response. I'll talk first about the advocacy and response, which is our voice unit. And so our voice unit really believes that everyone has the right to live and learn at Georgia Tech free of violence or the threat of violence. They also are here to create a campus culture that encourages respect, communication, and equity among the Georgia Tech community. So with that, we have advocates that are available 24 hours a day, 365 days, and they are a confidential resource for students. And so an advocate can support a student if they've experienced any type of sexual violence, whether that's stalking, whether that's domestic violence, whether that's sexual assault, anything that falls into that umbrella. The advocate can support that student throughout the entire process. And they really allow the student to guide the process instead of telling a student what they need to do. Instead, they ask the student, what is it that you would like for me to support you in? And then they provide support. So sometimes students want support with class accommodations, and the advocate can help them with that. Sometimes students need support with financial accommodations, whether that's housing, whether that's food. And so the advocate can support. Some students want to actually file a police report and want to go through the entire process. And so the advocate is able to support them with that. And so it's really the simplest way is that the advocate is there for the student. And so whatever support that student needs, they try their best to be there and ensure that what has happened to them does not deter their academic success while at Georgia Tech. So they are confidential. As I mentioned, there is a 24-hour hotline that they are accessible through accessing 894-9000. And they can provide options for students in reporting and supportive services, as I have highlighted. The second part of sexual violence is the prevention piece. And so with that piece, their goal is to empower students to promote nonviolence to their peers through increased student involvement and engagement in programs and services. They also believe that it's important that our messaging around sexual violence prevention is something that students understand that they have a power, their voice matters, And so they really work with students through peer education programs that any student can sign up for that's interested in ending sexual violence at Georgia Tech. And they train those students to have conversations with their peers about sexual violence and about certain behaviors and social norms that might have been acceptable in other places, but are not acceptable in our community. They do focus on the preventative side instead of the crisis and intervention side that the advocates focus on, and really try to highlight the importance of awareness of this issue. But they work very closely together to ensure that students understand the importance of your power and your voice, but also if something has happened to you, there are resources here to support you. They also do outreach, and so that outreach looks different depending on what's going on. So for example, April is Sexual Assault Prevention Month. And so in April, we are preparing for Take Back the Night. And that event is where students are able to share their stories and experiences that they've had with sexual violence, and for the Georgia Tech community to really be in solidarity and understand the importance of the topic, but also to know that they are not alone, and that we are in this with them, and that we believe them. We believe survivors, we believe their experiences, and we are here to support them as best as possible. In October, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so they do a lot of education and awareness around that topic and why that's important. In February, we focus on Healthy Relationships Week, which is typically the week of Valentine's Day, to really define what is a healthy relationship. What are some red flags that perhaps you're not in a healthy relationship? But not only from a monogamous dating relationship, but also from friendships and being platonic as well. Students can also do trainings and workshops around bystander intervention, healthy relationships, and sexual violence prevention. So when it comes to some individual services that my office provides, as I mentioned, we have dietitians that can provide nutrition counseling for students. Our health educators are also trained in wellness coaching. Wellness coaching is very different than therapy. The biggest comparison is that a coach is really focused on where a student is now compared to where they want to be. And really having someone for accountability that they can rely on to help them navigate the stressors of school. And so often students come in for stress management, for time management, for goal setting. And so they kind of help that student navigate what are some strategies that are in their locus of control to support them. I also mentioned the HIV testing that's free. That's an individual service. And then our advocates are individual confidential services that students can engage with us with. How can students get involved in our office? There's a number of ways. We do hire student assistants to work in our office and partner them with our staff that are working in different areas. But we also have peer educators. And so we have two different types of peer educators. We have our Healthy Jacket peer educators, and those are leaders who serve as healthy lifestyle role models to their peers. They are extensively trained volunteers who give presentations on a variety of health topics and design and implement health programs for students in collaboration with campus partners. So they work very closely with the health education unit. And then we have our voice peer educators. Those are diverse and dedicated. They can be undergraduate or graduate students. And they are trained within the sexual violence prevention lens to be able to give presentations and workshops to their peers around sexual violence prevention on campus. And so both of those peer educator roles are volunteers. But with that, students do gain a lot of experience with public speaking and communication and problem solving and conflict resolution that are really, really important, not only to their time at Georgia Tech, but to their careers as well. And so it's a great leadership opportunity for students. So I've come to the end. I didn't want to make it too long because I did want to open it to allow you all to ask me any questions that you might have. But if you would like to contact us, we do have an email that anyone can send questions, comments, or concerns. That is healthy@gatech.edu. We do have a telephone number that we can be reached. We have a website. I had to condense a lot of information to a short presentation, but if you really want to know about the different types of work, then please check out our website. That is wellnesscenter.gatech.edu. We also ask that you follow us on social media to really kind of learn about the different initiatives that we have. We have a Facebook and an Instagram page that is open to the public for anyone to be able to follow us. The last piece is students also have access to Headspace, which is a meditation and mindfulness app that they are able to receive 1 year free subscription that we try to encourage students to utilize as a way to de-stress. Meditation and mindfulness has been proven to help reduce stress. So that is an app that any student can download and receive access to for a year. And then this is our link tree that has access to our social media accounts and then our website as well. So that is all that I have, unless there are some questions that you all have for me that I can answer.
First of all, Joy, this was awesome. I have to thank you, because all this information is perfect and it's super prudent right now, especially with them going through, getting ready for finals and things like that.
Yes,
So
yeah.
this is awesome. So you do have a question here. It
Mhm.
says, do you give some coaching on how to role play conversations where a student may find themselves in an uncomfortable situation?
Yes, that can occur through our wellness coaching. So through our wellness coaching program, students can come in and if they have a concern regarding how to role play, a lot of students sometimes come in to learn how to develop skills in communication around how to meet friends and how to meet new people. And I know it might seem like, why would a student come in to learn skills on how to meet new people? But I do think, in the pandemic, it's heightened students' ability to connect and to build genuine, authentic relationships, but also in those relationships, when conflict occurs, what can they do to navigate that, to make sure that they are able to communicate their concerns respectfully and that their concerns are heard and validated. And so, yes, a student can absolutely set up an appointment through wellness coaching, and the coach will kind of help them through role playing to help them navigate a situation that they're concerned of.
Awesome. Next question says, do you work with dining services to help students with allergies find food options in the dining halls?
Yes, we do. So our dietitians work very closely with dining. Dining actually has a dietitian that works specifically with dining regarding students' dietary restrictions, if that makes sense. And so a student can connect with a dietitian in our office regarding nutrition counseling and then connect them with the dietitian in dining if they are on campus and have specific dietary restrictions or concerns about where they can eat and what's best for them. So yes, we do work very closely with dining.
Okay. Here it is. Okay. This question says, are there any books or resources that you can recommend to help students to help on social skills in conversations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we try to do is um, create experiences where students can connect with others, from to build connection, if that makes sense. And so, a lot of our activities are related to, for example, sometimes we do different like painting workshops, right? And so students can paint and they can draw and they can do different things. And even though it's helping them reduce stress, it's also causing them to connect with others, in a way to kind of understand the importance of social connection. And so I don't have a specific book, but what I can say is that the foundation of our outreach is based upon connection with students, and not only with our services, but with each other. And so we try to do large scale events, that can bring students out and that they can learn those skills and hopefully leave with someone that they didn't know before they came, but now that they can build a relationship with, once they leave. So, I would say as parents, you all have the ability to speak with students and to engage with them. And so, if there's ever an opportunity for you all to encourage them to utilize the resources that we have, we'll also reiterate those connections and skills that they have. Because as I mentioned, quite a few students come in for wellness coaching, to learn how to build social skills.
This question says, oh, well, it's kind of more of a compliment. It says, so glad these are available. Thank you for this webinar. It's very enlightening. So
Oh,
I just want to
thank
share this good
you.
vibes.
Oh, well, hey, I'm glad that I could at least share. Oftentimes students don't know about us until they're in crisis. And so I try to really spread the word that, our focus is preventative to reduce crisis and intervention, truthfully. But you don't know what you don't know, right? And so now that you all know it, I hope that you can spread the message to your students. As often I know that they are stressed. Finals are quickly approaching and around the corner, as April will be here next week. And so I understand the stress that comes with that. And so we try to really meet students where they are and to give them, even if it's, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, which the end of semester can be, you know, challenging, but rewarding at the same time.
Um, so to kind of before I ask this question to you, I will say the answer is it says, will your slides be available? The recording itself will be available by tomorrow. If Joy is open to sending me her slides, I can email them to you all. Joy, if you do you mind if you share that with me, if I
No,
can share with them?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. So I have you guys who are all signed up. I have your email addresses. So once I receive this slide presentation from Joy, I'll make sure to share that with you all. And then, of course, like I said, this will be evergreen and it'll be posted where all of our other webinars are on our website and also available in the Hive as well.
Yes. And I mentioned to Sharon that, for me, I wanted to kind of start with a baseline of this is who we are and what we do. But based upon that, if there are specific topics that you all want to dig into, please let me know, so that myself or my team can come back. I don't want this to be a one and done, but if there are specific topics that you think are applicable to your students, that you want us to kind of do a deep dive, I felt that one, you needed to kind of know who we are before going deep. But if there is a deep dive that of a particular topic that you want us to focus on, for these workshops, please let me know, and we can definitely provide additional resources.
there's a suggestion already. It says, would love to see a deep dive on social skills. My student is the quiet type.
Yes, your student and every other student at Georgia Tech, which is, they're not alone. Yes,
Yeah.
I can definitely do a deep dive on some social skills. And to be able to talk about how to the importance of social connection, but also how to build social skills while you're in college to have meaningful connection. So that is a common theme that your student is not alone with. And also, I want to plug them to check out wellness coaching too, because that can provide a lot of role playing that can kind of make them feel comfortable and have someone for accountability.
I'm gonna just ask one more time. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A before we wrap up. I think there's a reaction down there. If you guys want to give Joy a
Oh,
hand or
thank
heart if
you.
you love this, just to fill her up with some good vibes today
Thank
before we head
you.
out. But again, I'll do a last call for any questions. And if, of course, you have any questions or concerns from us, we're always available at
Yes.
parents@gatech.edu. If
And you
there's
can
something,
also email me.
yep,
Ashley has my contact information. So if you don't feel comfortable in this setting, you can email me and I can follow up with you specifically. With that, my email information and my direct line is on the website of wellnesscenter.gatech.edu. If you go to About and go to Meet the Staff, you will find me there. So please feel free to also email or reach out if you have some specific concerns.
okay. I don't see any questions, so I will go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks again, Joy. You will be back. We have
Yeah.
definitely put you on our schedule to make sure we do this consistently because it is very important. And you all have a great rest of your day. And thanks again for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. You all have a great week.
You
Thanks.
all
Okay, bye.
see ya.